Hi everybody, and welcome back to our demonstration of Exchange Protocol Guard, MessageWare's solution for login security for Microsoft Exchange Server. If you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to watch the introductory video, as it provides a lot of background and context that would be helpful in understanding this demonstration video as well. Let's get started. As we mentioned earlier, there are two main components in EPG: the reporting system, where all of our authentication data is recorded, and the administration module, where all of the security settings for EPG will be set. I'll just show you quickly some of the data before I start. Let's look at the basic data record we're collecting about authentication. You can see for every event, we give it an ID, we have a source IP address, the date, the time, the protocol, the application, the device ID, etc. Lots of information is logged as it comes in through authentication to Exchange Server, including username, country, region, city, and some domain name information, and the server that this particular authentication event occurred on. I wanted to show that first before we get into the security settings, because we use various attributes here in this data to enforce security policies. And we'll come back in a few minutes, and we'll go through all the different reports. The administration module is where you set the security settings for Exchange, so let's briefly go through those. You can start with all of the out-of-the-box default settings that EPG comes with. In many cases, they don't even need to be changed, but we will still go through these one by one to see how they work and how they provide security. The first function I want to show is the tarpit function. MessageWare EPG tarpit is essentially a second lockout threshold for Active Directory. We have our own lockout threshold up front we call tarpit that we use to stop brute force attacks. The idea being we want our users to continue to work and not be locked out of Active Directory, while at the same time ensuring we stop attacks at the perimeter without impacting our real users. In fact, they seldom realize there's been any kind of unusual activity on their account. The way it works is pretty simple. If EPG detects a large number of password failures coming from a given source in a short period of time, it simply freezes that source and does not allow any more authentication attempts or password guessing. On this demonstration server, for example, for the OWA protocol, it will freeze any incoming authentication activity from the source if there are 3 password failures in 1 minute or less, and you can see those settings highlighted here. By a source, I mean the combination of a username, IP address, and a protocol. Those are all put together so that rapid password failures freeze that incoming entity and not the real user. And keep in mind that we are not locking the Microsoft Active Directory user account. We are using our own independent lockout to prevent that from happening. I'll show you here with a simple GeoLogin tester how this works in production. For example, let's use a real username, and we can start off using an attacking IP address based in China. Since they have the username, the bot will start guessing passwords. Hold on while I type in 3 bad passwords. And after 3 incorrect attempts, we can see the outcome here. MessageWare has locked any further access for that user on OWA from that China-based IP address. So typically what happens next is the hacker will switch IP addresses, they'll go somewhere else, and they'll come back with a different IP and try to start password guessing again. So again, we'll use the same user account. And we'll do the same thing again, we'll put in incorrect passwords using the IP address based in Iran. And once again, you know what's going to happen after 3 attempts. EPG has locked out that IP. We've successfully isolated that user from that Iranian IP on OWA, and we've said no more activity. We've essentially stopped an attack from reaching the Active Directory failed login threshold that would lock the user out of everything on the network, not just Exchange Server. So let's say, for example, this has been going on all night, and the real user comes into work in the morning. And I'll just pick New York here, and I'll use the same user account. First of all, the user is getting a prompt. They are not locked out, but they would have been without the protections from EPG. Instead, I am going to put in the actual password this time. And in this case, a CAPTCHA has come up. I'll show you why in a moment. And the great news here is the user can log in. They won't even know there's been any sort of password attacks on their account. They are not locked out. They do not have to call the help desk. They can get on with their day, log out, and the CAPTCHA will be cleared, and onward we go. So that is the tarpit function. You can think of it as a primary lockout threshold, in addition to having Microsoft AD lockouts. Other security settings you can set. There's a geoblock system built into EPG. It's very specific. You can specify country, region, and city, down to that level of granularity. EPG records all access attempts from block locations, and that's useful information, especially if the volume of those log-on attempts is high. EPG also has an IP filtering system. There's a couple of different components to it. The main one is a large list of constantly updated global IP addresses that have been cataloged because of suspicious behavior. The real-time lists are provided from Spamhaus. They are updated constantly and contain many domestic IP addresses, and it's important to be aware that many of the malicious, probing IP addresses are domestic. And the Spamhaus auto-blocking system is very effective at preventing anyone coming from these addresses, even attempting to authenticate. You also have a setting for the OWA CAPTCHA, which I showed you a moment ago with our test user. The good thing about this is it doesn't need to be on all the time. You can set it dynamically so that it only comes up after a certain amount of logon failures. Here you can define suspicious behavior, and in this case, it was 6 login failures in 5 minutes, which is why our test user after the 3rd login attempt had the CAPTCHA appear, and then it goes away after successful authentication. Email alerts. We won't go into all of them in great detail here. There are a lot of automatic email alerts that you can set and send to the security operations team based on network events, password failures, and many others where you can change the thresholds and settings by using the little pencil icon on the left to edit. You will also receive what we call digests, and there are 2 of them. There's a Tarpit digest, which is a daily and/or weekly report sent with everything that MessageWare has added to its Tarpit. It's a nice summary list, sent daily and/or weekly. And there's a digest for IP filtering, which is for access attempts that have been blocked by the IP filter system and are either malicious IP-based or geolocation-based. A daily and weekly summary report of those events is available, in addition to all the other information that's in the main reporting system. Speaking of the reporting system, MessageWare currently has 2 entities in a Tarpit state or a frozen state. We have user MaxS from 159.226 and from 2.191 on OWA that have been frozen, and no further login attempts will be allowed. These are the 2 Chinese and Iranian IP addresses that we used during the test. Let's jump over to the reports. I showed you the basic data record earlier. There are 22 built-in reports. There's a whole section here by geolocation. All of the report formats are 3 sections. There's a filter area at the top where you can put in IP ranges, dates, and other criteria, depending on which reports you're in. There's a graphical representation of this report, which is password failures by country in this case, and then there's a data table in the bottom section. I won't go through them all in this demonstration, and hopefully you'll have a chance to test EPG and have time to go through them in greater detail. There's a whole section by geography. There's a whole section by protocol. I'll just show you quickly one of these. This is all statuses by protocol. Again, filter area at the top, graph in the middle, live table of this data, which you can click into at the bottom. There's a whole section of reporting by calendar. There are specialized types of data viewing and reporting. One of them is a roll-up report, which we find very useful, and I'll just show you one of those quickly. This is just a good way of organizing your data by different attributes. Right now, it's sorted by country, and I'll change it to show you the data by a username. There are many ways you can pivot this data and present it, and it's very useful for a number of things. For example, we could take a look at this particular user's logons and failures. This happens to be the username that we just used for our test. If you were doing a security investigation on that user, you have instant access to all the data here as well, and if you want to export the report, it's very easy to do. Each of the reports can be exported. You simply specify the file format here. I'll pick Excel, and I've just exported a history of this user, MaxP, and that's how quick it is. It takes about 30 seconds, and you've got a nice Excel spreadsheet specifically for that user. So any of the different reports can be exported as quickly and as easily as that, and all of the built-in reports can be customized as well. I hope that's a helpful demonstration. I would encourage you to contact us for more information. Please go to messageware.com/EPG and follow the links to request trial software or more information, and thanks for your attention today.